They're supposed to be politically neutral. I want to see them play ball. I want to see them, do what they're supposed to do. People are paying their hard-earned money to buy these tickets. And you know what?
Wow.
Just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. And if you want to take a stance, do it off the field. Do something that makes a difference. Go join a rally.
They do that.
Drum up a rally. Do what you want to do. But don't use the backs of the people that are paying for the tickets to do that.
Okay,
So
I've
suspend
heard
the
comments from...
Constitution.
Here we go. Yep.
Suspend the Constitution for this particular group of people, but be certain that you apply one of the foundations, the keystones of our Constitution, of what America's all about, for bigoted language, anti-Semitism, white supremacy, violence in Charlottesville. That makes absolutely no sense.
And James,
we're talking about football. About football.
But James has something to say about this as well.
Let's talk about football. These athletes do all those things. They give to great causes. They spend time in their communities. Many of them are upstanding community servants across this nation. I don't think that goes without question. I think the questions we should ask is, when in that rally, what is Mr. Trump? Who is the we he's talking about? Who's the our heritage that he's talking about here? Peaceful protest is one of the most important features of the American political project. Someone taking a knee to protest, to raise awareness around an issue. This is black people dying, people of color dying, unarmed American civilians dying. We need to address those issues, reform our criminal justice system, remove some of the violence and the sort of extrajudicial killings that are going on. Those are really important issues that impact the lives of the community that the NFL players support. And so taking a knee, first of all, it doesn't mess up the game. You can still watch the game. They still go out and play. They still do what they're supposed to do, but they're using the platform to raise peacefully awareness around an issue that really, really matters to millions of Americans.
And James, look, it is hard not to notice that the people the president has gone after this week, they're all African-American. Intentional or coincidence?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, to say it's coincidence would be absurd. Remember, Tom Brady also said he wasn't going to visit the White House. I don't remember seeing any kind of tweets or any kind of tirade about that. The reality is that if you listen closely to this president's tone, he has some idea that people of color who have earned money as athletes somehow sort of have a sense of entitlement that he can't stomach or he can't stand. He also is resistant and rejects those folks who call him out for white supremacy. I mean, just look at the context of the rally. Look at who he's attacking, right? When he's talking about our heritage or our country, these are the things that sort of raise the flag, I think, when we're having these racially charged conversations. It is no mistake that these athletes are people of color and women that the president is attacking.
Look, and Noel, I want to ask him, and let's take the mirror and flip it around here, because Erica Braun, the tight end for the Detroit Lions, tweeted last night, does anyone tell Trump to stick to politics like they tell us to stick to sports, rather? I mean, does he have a point?
Okay, well, he does have a point on that. But you know what? It all is intertwining together, and I don't like it, and I think a lot of Americans don't like it. Look, I mean, Steph Curry, here's a great example. With that invitation to go to the White House. He does not like Donald Trump, but maybe he could bridge the gap. Maybe he could start a dialogue. Look, I understand taking the knee. I understand the message behind it. But when are we ever going to come together? Well, how far do we want to be divided?
Noel, when you say that everything's intertwined, that also means sports, politics, culture, it's all intertwined. So how can you want to just separate sports players, say, just stay on the field, just focus on what you got, the gridiron, what you have to do there, and don't address anything else? I mean, because we want to see football.
Then maybe both sides need to take a chill. Maybe both sides. Maybe Trump doesn't even need to go there, and maybe the NFL players and NBA players, maybe they don't need to go there. Maybe nobody in sports needs to go there. Maybe it needs to be in a contract that if they want to protest silently or whatever they want to do,
maybe
give up
their rights as American citizens.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
now you want contractual.
So, Peter, then
the Constitution is the Constitution. It's all Americans.
Win. Okay, so then Peter,
no, you're right, because we're using the Constitution.
Peter, does the president, Peter, have a right to express his opinion? I mean, look, it may not be a popular one. It may not be what we're used to hearing from our leaders, but is it wrong, Peter?
It's not an opinion, unfortunately. He loves to stoke with coal, albeit clean coal in theory, the furnace of his supporters' fear and anger. And so for him, it's all about adoration or bust. It's not about the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech, which is the basis of our Constitution, of all Americans. That's what separates us from so many other countries and governments around the world. To even suggest for a moment, whether it be the President of the United States or my colleague Noel, that somehow those football players do not have a right to the Constitution of the United States is extraordinary. I mean, it's just beyond comprehension.
All right, listen, you guys.
I just want to see a game.
Just one other
I
thing,
just want to
Alex,
see
is
him.
this is-
I
this
just
is-
want to
it's-
see him play ball.
Okay, and last
Well, they
word,
are
real
doing
quick,
that.
James.
They are doing that. But here's what you have to see: this administration has diminished this office, right? That's why you got people calling them a bum. That's why you have these kind of conversations at a moment where millions of Americans are without power, hundreds of thousands of Americans are displaced and trying to recover from hurricanes. We're talking about sports and whether or not people appreciate a sort of
You got to
taking
start
of
a
the lead.
dialogue to mend it.
It's
You got to
absurd.
start a dialogue to mend it.
James,
What about-
Peter,
What-
Noel. Gosh, look at the
This
passion.
president is not interested in starting any dialogue.
But
Exactly.